Hello, today we're going to talk about how your new case backer works. So I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of the system, not really how to run everything, but just how it works. So you've got two in-feed conveyors here where the product comes into the machine, and when the machine's ready to accept your bags, there's a signal we send to it, say send bags. Once the bags come through the system, they're going to come up these two conveyors to a merge point. This bag merge, it's got sensors on the top and bottom, look at the relative position of the bags and merge two lanes into one. The two lanes merge into one here and then come into the machine into what's called an acceleration belt. The acceleration belt will take the bags coming into the machine, accelerate them into a pocket on the indexing belt. The indexing belt, once a bag comes in and is detected by this photo eye, it'll index one position and be ready for the next bag. Once all the bags in the group have indexed in the position, then the robot will come down and pick the bags and then lift them up, carry them over into what's called the cassette. The cassette is basically simulates a box. It is adjustable in width and height, and it allows us to push the bags in. Okay, once the bags are put in the cassette by the Delta robot, they will be pushed in, these doors will open up and they will be pushed into the waiting case. This case then is tipped down on the tipper, moved over to a case rotator, which will rotate the case around and send it out the machine. Also working in concert with the tipper is the gantry. This case erector. This gantry will come down. It's got rollers that will square the case, so if a case is out of alignment, it'll reference it in this direction and reference it in this direction so that your cases are square on the pick head before picking. It will then come down, pick the case, lift it up, move it over this dividing wall or reference wall, and then this arm will come in and grab the case. Let's see. The arm will come in, come underneath the case, and erect it like this. So it'll be like this, it'll get erected, and then placed, brought over here. This will fold. How will it do that? It will fold these corners or these minor flaps, and then the case erector has a cylinder on here that will then close the top major, and then the minor will be, or the bottom major will be closed by the tipper once it's placed on the tipper, and then it'll be moved in place to get loaded again. After the case gets swung out here, out of the machine, it will then go around the corner, this roller. We've got a backup photo eye here that the full cases as they come out, if they back up, we will stop. The full case then comes around through this indexer that will index one case at a time. There's a clamp here and a stop here that will index cases out into this checkway. So the checkway, once it comes out of the indexer, will come on the checkway, stop in the center, lift up. It will be weighed. If it's underweight or overweight, it will be rejected here. If the case is good, it will be sent down through the system. One of the other features of the machine is the machine has an HMI that for the operator, they're going to be able to reset faults or get the machine reset here. There's a start button here. It's not shown right now. If there's errors right here, they can have a list of errors up here. So the active alarms and the alarm history. Going back to the main home page, anything that's an error is listed in red here and will also come up on the, there's a stack light as a red indication. Any warnings will be in yellow here. Some of the other items on the screen under system control, if you were running the machine and decided you just want to stop the product feed, you can press here. That way, if you just want bags to stop coming, hit there. But typically when you start the machine, you'll hit reset and start right here, and the machine will start on its own. Some of the other items, if you can't start the machine, go to safety status and it'll tell you in red what doors or e-stops are pressed. Speed status allows you to look at what rate you're running. So if you've got a system and you're trying to get out a lot of cases and you're supposed to be running, let's say 70 bags a minute, and you're only running 59, you can tell the bagger operator to try to speed up. Production data gives you today's production, how many cases were produced, how many bags were produced, uptime, downtime, and your efficiency. And also yesterday's productions. Some other things that are available on the screen, again, there's the home button. If you go here, there's a sub-menu, missing product detector, which is the checkway, which will tell you a current weight of the last case. Delay before lift, that's how much time you want the case to come in before it lifts up. So if it's not centered on the case erector, you can fix it there. Settle time, normally you're not going to adjust that, but that's how much time it sits there and weighs. If it's too short, you'll have the same case will read different every time. If it's too long, maybe you'll get behind. Reject duration, how much time the reject stays up to reject a case. Again, normally you're not going to change any of those. Some other features that are available, clean screen. So if you wanted to wipe the screen off, this way you're not going to hit buttons and stop the machine or start the machine accidentally. Go back to home. Maintenance menu. If for whatever reason the items on the Smart Track or the indexing belt, if you want to clear them, if you decide to pull them off and you hit this, it's going to it won't send them off, but it'll ignore them and they won't pick them anymore. Reset cassette layers to 0. If you're running and for some reason you decide to pull the product or a layer out of the cassette, or actually if you remove all the product from the machine, you can hit this and it'll tell it that there's no layers in the cassette and you can continue to run. This button is to release product or release cases from the gantry. If you're going in there and for whatever reason a case doesn't erect right, you can hit this button and that allows you to drop vacuum, and you have to remove the case from the tipper and the gantry. Also, you can see the status of some of your inputs, is my e-stop, is that on? Is air pressure okay? Allows you to do some troubleshooting. So inputs, you've got outputs. Another way of getting at the alarms and warnings are here too. One more thing for the operator is that in addition to the HMI, you can start the machine from here. So there's a reset, which resets control current, gets everything ready. Start puts the machine into production. Emergency stop if there's an emergency. Typically though, if you want to stop the machine for whatever reason, it's not an emergency, hit request to enter. What that'll do is do a controlled stop, and when it'll start flashing. When it comes on solid, it's now okay to either e-stop or open the door. Doing this will keep you from causing yourself a lot of headaches and rework. If you just open the door in the middle of a cycle, you may have to remove cases, you may have to remove product, but if you do a controlled stop, it'll be in a known condition, you should be able to restart it. The other button here is the vacuum release, which we talked about on the HMI. If you hit it here, it'll drop vacuum. The case will fall off the head, and you also have to remove the case from the tipper. And then you're free to start up again. So that concludes how the machine works, an overview.